So
So
the
the
body is
body is
consisting
consisting
the
the
different
different
system.
system.
So
So
here
here
the
the
nervous
nervous
system is
system is
master
master
system
system
that
that
controls the
controls
rest
the
of
rest
the
of the
other
other
system
system
like
like
digestive,
digestive,
respiratory,
respiratory,
and
and
urinary,
urinary,
like
like
that.
that.
So
So
here
here
the
the
particularly
particularly
the
the
nervous
nervous
system
system
is
is very
important,
important,
which will
which
be
will be
controls
controls the
all
all
activities of the
activities of the
body.
body.
That is
That
why
is
it
why
is
it is
called as
called as
master
master
system.
system.
That
That
means
means
it
it
controls the
controls the
all
all
activities of the
activities of the
body.
body.
That
That
activities may
activities
be
may be
external
external
or it
or
may
it may
be
be
internal,
internal,
whatever it
whatever
may
it may
be,
be,
that
that
controls
controls
the
the
whole
whole
activities of
activities
the
of the
body.
body.
So
So
that is
that
why
is why
it is an
it is an
important
important
system
system
and
and
master
master
system.
system.
So while
So while
going to the
going to the
study of
study
this
of this
nervous
nervous
system,
system,
we are
we
going
are
to make
going to
it
make
into
it in
two
a two
divisions.
divisions.
One is
One is
called as
called as
neuroanatomy
neuroanatomy
and
and
another one
another
is
one is
called
called
neurophysiology.
neurophysiology.
The neuroanatomy and
Neuroanatomy and
neurophysiology,
neurophysiology,
that is
that
the
is the
study of
study
the
of
structure,
structure,
that is
that is
neuroanatomy.
neuroanatomy.
The
The
functional
functional
concept
concept
is
is
called
called
as
as
the
the
physiology.
physiology.
So
So
the
the
two
two
classifications
classifications
of this
of this
system going
system
to
going to
study,
study,
one is
one
in the
is in the
anatomical
anatomical
concept
concept
and
and
other one
other
is
one is
physiological
physiological
concept.
concept.
So
So
here
here
the
the
neuroanatomy
neuroanatomy
and
and
neurophysiology,
neurophysiology,
the
the
structural
structural
study
study
and
and
functional
functional
study.
study.
So
So
here
here
we can
we
make
can
it
make it
divisions
division
as in
as in
related to the
related to
one,
the one,
the
the
gross
gross
anatomy
anatomy,
and
and
another one
another
is
one is
microscopic
microscopic
anatomy.
anatomy.
The
The
gross
gross
anatomy
anatomy
is
is
a
a
gross
gross
structural
structural
study
study,
and
and
the
the functional
aspect
aspect
what we are
what we
going
are
to
going to
make
make
it
it
is
is
the
the
microscopic
microscopic
anatomy.
anatomy.
So the
So the
microscopic
microscopic
study
study
is
is
under
under
the
the
microscope.
microscope.
That is,
That is,
with the
with
help
the
of the
help of the
microscope,
microscope,
we have
we
to
have
go
to
for
go
the
for the
study of
study of
minute
minute
level.
level.
For
For
example,
example,
cellular
cellular
level,
level,
tissues
tissues
level,
level,
histological
histological
aspect
aspect
study
study
is
is
under the
under the
microscope, so
microscope,
it is
so it is
called as
called as
microscopic
microscopic
anatomy.
anatomy.
So this
So this
gross
gross
anatomy,
anatomy,
without
without
microscope,
microscope,
as a
as a
gross,
gross,
we
we
can
can
study
study
without
without
microscope.
microscope,
So that
so
is
that is
usually
usually
called as
called as
gross
gross
anatomy.
anatomy.
So
So
this
this
microscopic
microscopic
anatomy
anatomy
may
may
classify
classify
as
as
an
an
ordinary
ordinary
histological
histological
study.
study.
That means
That means
only the
only the
histological
histological
in a
in a
simple
simple
aspect.
aspect.
That
That
study is
study is
called as
called as
ordinary
ordinary
histological
histological
study.
study.
Then
Then
another one
another
is
one is
histochemical
histochemical
study.
study.
The
The
histochemical
histochemical
study
study
is
is
the
the
study of
study of
chemical
chemical
substances
substances
which are
which are
released
released
by the
by the
nerve
nerve
cells,
cells,
by the
by the
neurons.
neurons.
So that
So that
histochemical
histochemical
is
is
another
another
part of
part of
study,
study
that is
that is
chemical
chemical
level.
level.
So
So
number of the
number of the
enzymes,
enzymes,
number of the
number of the
substances
substances
they
they
release
release
from
from the
neurons.
neurons.
That
That
study is
study is
called as
called as
histochemical
histochemical
study.
study.
The
The
histological
histological
means the
means the
structural
structural
aspect of
aspect of
the
the
study
study
that is
that is
called
called
as
as
the
the
histological
histological
study.
study.
So
So
we can
we
go
can
for
go
this
for this
different
different
level of
level of
system
system
study.
study.
But
But
here
here
we are
we are
concentrating
concentrating
to the
to the
gross
gross
anatomy.
anatomy.
That is
That
the
is the
our
our
basic
basic
concept and
concept and
basic
basic
study.
study.
So
So
here
here
the
the
nervous
nervous
system
system
has
has
the
the
continuations
continuations
or
or
coordinations,
coordinations,
that is
that is
communication,
communication,
that is
that is
one
one
is
is
called as
called as
controlling
controlling
and
and
another one
another
is
one is
integration.
integration.
So what is
So
the
what is the
controlling?
controlling?
That
That
controlling means
controlling
the
means the
control
control
the
the
activities of
activities
the
of the
whole
whole
bodies
bodies.
that
That
controls the
whole
whole
activities,
activities,
other
other
system
system
activities,
activities,
maybe an
maybe an
external
external
or
or it
an
may be an
internal
internal
functional
functional
concept,
concept,
and
and
controlling
controlling
is
is
mainly
mainly
the one
the
part
one
of
part
the
of the
nervous
nervous
system.
system.
Then
Then
another one
another
is
one is
integration.
integration.
So what is
So
the
what is the
integration?
integration?
The
The
integration is
integration is
nothing but
nothing but
interpretation.
interpretation.
So the
So the
sense of the
sense of the
knowledge
knowledge
that
that
what we are
what we are
knowing,
knowing
that
that
will
will
make
make
as
as
the
the
perfect
perfect
sense of the
sense of the
knowledge.
knowledge.
For
For
example,
example,
someone
someone
will
will
come
become
and
and
pinch
pinch
or
or
touch
touch
to the
to the
body.
body.
So
So
that
that's a
touch
touch
and
and
the
the
pinch,
pinch,
the
the
touch and
touch and
pain
pain
is the
is the
sensation.
sensation.
So
So
that
that
sensation,
sensation,
clear
clear
knowledge,
knowledge,
the
the
clear
clear
identification.
identification.
So
So
what type
what
of
type of
pinch?
pinch?
Whether
Whether
it is a
it is a
tolerable
tolerable
or
or
not
not
tolerable.
tolerable.
So in
So
this
in this
concept,
concept,
we are
we
going
are
to
going to
make it
make
an
it an
interpretation,
interpretation,
that is
that is
integration of
integration of
sense of
sense of
knowledge.
knowledge.
Any
Any
sense of
sense of
knowledge,
knowledge,
the
the
integration means
integration
the
means the
proper
proper
sense of the
sense of the
knowledge
knowledge
is by
is
the
by the
help
help
of this
of this
nervous
nervous
system.
system.
So that
So
is
that
why
is why
that
that
controls
controls
and
and
it helps
it
for
helps
the
for the
integration.
integration
That
that
organism,
organism.
the
The
organism,
organism is
brain and
brain and
spinal
spinal
cord,
cord.
they
They
have a
have a
name,
name,
controls the
controls the
activities,
activities,
and
and
also with
also
the
with the
integration
integration
of
of
sense of
sense of
knowledge.
knowledge.
That is
That is
most
most
important.
important.
So
So
we'll come
we'll
to the
come to the
brief
brief
functions of
functions
this
of this
system.
system.
The
The
activity of the
activity of the
nervous,
nervous
various
various
parts of
parts
the
of the
body.
body.
It will
It
be
will be
activity
activity
of the
of the
various
various
parts of the
parts of the
body.
body.
It will be
It will be
controls,
controlled.
maybe
Maybe
movement of
movement
the
of the
hand,
hand,
movement of the
movement of the
leg,
leg,
or
or
it can take the
contains the
digestion,
digestion,
respiration,
respiration,
like that.
like that.
So
So
almost
almost
all the
all the
activities of the
activities of the
various
various
parts
parts
controlled by
controlled
this
by this
system.
system.
Then
Then
individual
individual
can
can
react to
react to
changing the
changing the
external
external
environment.
environment.
The
The
individual can
individual can
react
react means
so
so
the
the
different
different
human
human
beings,
beings
they
they
have
have
any
any
different
different
reactions.
reactions.
All the
All the
human
human
beings are
beings are
not
not
similar
similar
response
response
mechanism.
mechanism.
That may
That may
be
be
different
different
according to
according
the
to the
related to
related
their
to their
external
external
environment.
environment.
That is
That is
called as
called as
individual
individual
can
can
react
react
to
to
changing the
changing the
external
external
environment.
environment.
For
For
example,
example,
the two
the two
friends,
friends,
they are
they
very
are very
close
close
friends,
friends,
they went
they
to
went to
some
the some
tour.
tour.
Early
Early
morning when
morning
they
when
get
they
up
get up
and
and
comes
comes
down
down
in that
in
of the
that of the
city.
city.
So
So
one
one
person
person is
says
says
very too
very
much
too much
cold.
cold.
I
I
wanted to go
wanted to
for
go
some
for
hot
some
cup
hot
of
cup of
tea.
tea.
So
So
other
other
person
person's
response is,
response is,
no, that
no,
much
that much
not
not
cold.
cold.
It is a
It is a
very
very
normal.
normal.
So I
So
don't
I
want
don't want
any hot
any hot
cup of
cup
tea.
of tea.
So that
So
is the
that is the
differentiation,
differentiation,
the
the
individual
individual
reaction of
reaction of
the two
the two
persons.
persons.
They are in
They
the
are in the
same
same
place,
place,
the
the
same
same
environment,
environment,
but
but
the
the
response
response
mechanism is
mechanism is
different.
different.
It is
It
called
is
as
called as
individual
individual
can
can
react
react
to
to
changing
changing
external
external
environment,
environment,
and
and
maintaining
maintaining
the
the
internal
internal
environment,
environment
the
that
delicately
delicately
balanced
balanced
within the
within the
narrow
narrow
limits
limits
which are
which are
necessary for
necessary for
survival.
survival.
The
The
maintaining
maintaining
internal
internal
environment
environment
means
means
according to
according
the
to the
external
external
environment.
environment.
So the
So the
internal
internal
environment is
environment is
balancing.
balancing.
Suppose
Suppose
if the
if
too
the too
much
much
hot in the
hot in the
environment,
environment,
the
the
internal
internal
environment is
environment is
balancing
balanced
to
to
make
make
a
a
less
less
temperature.
temperature.
If it is
If
too
it's
much
too much
cold in the
cold in the
environment,
environment,
so
so
that
that
internal
internal
environment is
environment is
balanced to
balanced
that
with that
the
the
portion.
portion.
So this
So
is
this
the
is the
mechanism.
mechanism.
So that
So
we
that
have
we
to
have to be
make
made
very
very
clear.
clear.
That is
That
the
is the
point.
point.
Then
Then
it is
it is
having
having
self
self
awareness.
awareness.
That
That
means
means
at
at
any
any
time,
time,
even
when
you are in
you
the
are in the
sleep
sleep
hours,
hours,
or you are
or
in
you
the
are in the
awareness,
awareness,
or in
or you are
any
in any
somewhere,
somewhere,
but
but
it will
it
be
will be
aware
aware
all the
all the
24
24
hours.
hours.
So
So
no any
no any
gap
gap
in this
of this
conducting
conducting
system
system
or
or
interpretation
interpretation
system.
system.
It is
It is
continuously
continuously
having a
having
self
a self
awareness.
awareness.
According
According
to
to
that,
that,
it has
it has
make
made
a
a
response
response
mechanism.
mechanism.
And again,
And
it
again,
is a
it is a
decision
decision
making
making
and self
and self
control.
control.
So
So
it
it
is
is
a
a
self-control
self-control
system
system
and
and
decision
decision
making.
making.
It
It
make a
make a
decision
decision
whether I
whether
have
I
to
have to
do
do
or
or
not to
not to
do,
do,
whether I
whether
have
I
to
have to
go
go
or
or
not to
not to
go.
go.
Like that,
Like that,
the
the
decision
decision
making
making
and
and
the
the
self-control
self-control
system
system
is
is
particularly by
particularly
this
by this
system.
system.
Then
Then
efficiency and
efficiency and
accountability.
accountability.
The
The
efficiency and
efficiency and
accountability
accountability
is
is
the
the
nothing but
nothing but
it has
it
in a
has in a
capacity to
capacity to
control
control
the
the
most
most
of the
of that
all
all
activities.
activities.
That is
That
why
is
it
why
has
it has
efficiency
efficiency
and as
and
well
as
as
well as
accountability.
accountability.
And
And
again we
again,
can
we
take
can
it
take
as
it as
it is
it is
customer
customer
service.
service.
Always
Always
the
the
positive
positive
attitude,
attitude,
positive
positive
thinking
thinking
is
is
the
the
one of the
one of the
important.
important.
The
The
customer
customer
service
service
means
means
all the
all the
24 into
24 into
7
7
it will
it will
be
be
work
work
as a
as a
awareness.
awareness.
So
So
anytime
anytime
any
any
will be the
will be the
information
information
intimacy to
intimacy
the
to the
body,
body,
the
the
body will
body will
make
make
the
the
response
response
mechanism
mechanism
almost
almost
all the
all the
hours.
hours.
So that
So
is
that
why
is why
just like
just
a
like a
it will
it
be
will
act as
act
a
as a
customer
customer
service
service
and
and
almost
almost
always
always
the
the
positive
positive
attitude.
attitude.
So
So
that is
that
the
is the
point
point
here
here
we
we
have
have
to
to
take
take
in
in
consideration.
consideration.
Then
Then
communication
communication
and
and
the
the
personal
personal
skills.
skills.
That
That
communication
communication
and
and
personal
personal
skills
skills,
that is
that
the
is the
one of the
one of the
important
important
function of
function
this
of this
system.
system.
So
So
that
that
portion
portion
it will
should
be
be
makes
makes
the
the
complete
complete
portions
portions
of
of
identification.
identifications.
So
So
just
just you have to be remember
this is
this is
one
one
of
of
the
the
important
important
point
point
in
in
related to
related to
the
the
functional
functional
concept.
concept.
So
So
now
now
you can
you
see
can see
that is
that is
the
the
portion.
portion.
So
So
all the
all the
things
things
are
are
important
important
and
and
related.
related.
Then
Then
what is
what
the
is the
structure?
structure?
The
The
structure
structure
is
is
basically
basically
the
the
nerve
nerve
cell.
cell.
So that
So
is
that is
called
called
as
as
neurons.
neurons.
So
So
these
these
neurons
neurons
are
are
specialized
specialized
cell
cell
structures.
structures.
So
So
these cell
these cell
structures
structure
has a
has a
capacity
capacity
and doing
and doing
almost
almost
all the
all the
functions
functions,
whatever it
whatever
may
it
be.
may be.
So
So
that is
that
why
is why
the
the
basic
basic
structure of
structure
this
of this
system is
system is
the
the
cellular
cellular
level,
level,
the
the
cells,
cells,
that is
that is
nerve
nerve
cell,
cell,
that is
that is
specialized in the
specialized in
nerve
the
cell
nerve cell
is
is
called as
called as
usually
usually
neurons.
neurons.
So
So
highly
highly
specialized
specialized
nerve
nerve
cells.
cells.
And
And
these
these
nerve
nerve
cells
cells
have a
have a
function of
function of
conductors.
conductors.
The
The
conductors
conductors
means
means
they
they
transmit
transmit
the
the
sensory
sensory
information
information
from the
from the
peripheral to
peripheral
the
to the
center.
center.
Any
Any
part of the
part of the
body.
body,
So this
so this
will
will
be
be
transmits
transmits
the
the
impulses,
impulses,
the
the
sensory
sensory
impulses.
impulses.
So they
So
are
they are
called as
called as
conductors.
conductors.
That
That
means
means
the
the
neurons
neurons
which are
which are
having in a
having a
function of
function of
transmission of
transmission
the
of the
sensory
sensory
impulses
impulses
from the
from the
peripheral to
peripheral to
the
the
center.
center.
That is
That
the
is the
one
one
point.
point.
Then
Then
simultaneously
simultaneously
they
they
receive the
receive the
information
information
and
and
make the
make the
interpretation of the
interpretation of the
sense of the
sense of the
knowledge
knowledge
and the
and the
transmission of
transmission
the
of the
motor
motor
impulses
impulses
through the
through the
neurons
neurons
that
that
reaches to
reaches
the
to the
peripheral.
peripheral.
So that
So
means
that means
from the
from the
central to
central
the
to the
peripheral
peripheral
through the
through the
neurons,
neurons,
and that
and that
neurons
neurons
are
are
particularly
particularly
transmission of
transmission
the
of the
response
response
mechanism.
mechanism.
So
So
some of the
some of the
neurons
neurons
receive the
receive the
information
information
from
from
peripheral to
peripheral
the
to the
center,
center,
and some
and
of the
some of the
neurons
neurons
from the
from the
center to
center to
the
the
peripheral.
peripheral.
So these
So
are
these
the
are the
main.
main.
And
And
in the
in the
center
center
also there
also
is
there is
a
a
neurons.
neurons.
They are
They
called
are called
as
as
central
central
neurons.
neurons.
That means
That means
they
they
receive the
receive the
whatever
whatever
information from
information
the
from the
sensory
sensory
neurons
neurons
that
that
take
take
the
the
decision
decision
and take
and
the
take the
action
action,
what to
what
do,
to do,
what not
what
to do
not to do,
according to
according
that
to that
situation.
situation.
So that
So
will
that
be
will be
takes
takes
and
and
transmits
transmits
the
the
motor
motor
impulses
impulses
to the
to the
another
another
neuron.
neuron.
So that
So
is
that
the
is the
point.
point.
So
So
in this
in this
aspect,
aspect,
the
the
neurons are
neurons are
the
the
important
important
structures.
structures. They conduct the sensory impulses from peripheral to the center and from the center to the peripheral, that is motor neurons. They have an action of integration, interpretation, and as well as transmission response mechanism. So this is the point you have to be remember. And particularly, the neurons have a special property. It will be a better response mechanism and conducting mechanism. So these are highly developed structures and have a special property. The neurons are particularly have a special property that conduct the impulses rapidly, very fast, and simultaneously these are rich blood supply. That is the point you have to be remember. That means they conduct the impulses rapidly and also there is a rich blood supply to this neurons. That is the main concept and specialization of this neurons. So usually they have an impulses rapidly transmission system. That is a special property, and usually the total there are number of neurons, that is innumerable neurons, that is approximately about 10 to 12 times more than that, that will be in the nervous system. It is not exactly, there may be variable, but there is a billions of neurons in the system. They have a conducting system and integrated and response mechanism. So here, these neurons are always aware of changes in the environment or of those within itself. That is the point is very important. Then appropriate responses, form of movement, modified working of some organ. So that is the whatever there is an environmental changes, maybe in internal environment or it may be an external environment. So that will have a response mechanism and receptor mechanism. So it will be reaction and action that will be taken completely and 100% perfectly. That is the point. So it has two higher function center. So the higher functions mean the specialized functional concept. So one is the memory and another one is intelligence. So the memory, if for example, if you whatever you have get the knowledge or sense of knowledge or motor knowledge, so that will make as a source. First it will go for the temporary memory, then it will be transferred into the permanent memory. So the permanent memory that is fixed, that means at any time you can recall that memory and you make the identification of the past memory and past identification portion and similarly the portion. So that is why the memory is one of the important specialized function of the system. Then intelligence. It has very intelligence in all the controlling activities. You might have any knowledge, you might have any idea. So immediate that is the identification and giving the response mechanism to that of the functional concept. What is that? Say for example, whenever you have some to work or you have to go to immediate, that will be the response mechanism. So that is why that is intelligence and the memory is important to specialize function of the system. Then again, to maintaining all these functional concepts, that is a part of the physiology, that the protein substance, so protein molecules, the protein substances is very important. That will be one of the important substances to maintain the all normal and active function. So it also helps for the repair and production of the neurotransmitters and enzymes. So that is why the neurons are need highly protein substances, and protein is one of the important to maintain the healthy and normal function of the nervous system. That is an important point. So we remember that protein substance very important. Then another important point is the nasal bodies, which are located in the cell, that is in one of the organelle. So these nasal bodies, the nasal substances, is very important, and they have a composed of rough surface endoplasmic reticulum. So that indication for the high level protein synthesis. That means the protein synthesis is maintained, and it will be managed in a proper function, in a proper aspect. So that is nasal bodies. The nasal granules are very important organelles in the neuron. So these balance the metabolic activities of the protein substances. The protein substance is one of the important to maintain the normal, healthy, anatomical, and as well as physiological concept. So this is the point you have to be remember. As I told, the three neurons. So one neuron is called as a sensory neuron, which receives the information from the peripheral to the center. Then interneuron, that is center. That means it receives the information and takes the action. That may be a decision or whatever it may be. That is interneuron, the decision making center. Then another one is effector neuron, that is motor neuron. So that all the three neurons which will be having of this sensory function, center for the both controlling center, then another one is motor neuron. So that is why we can take it as the organism. The organism is controlling centers. The stimulus means that is coming from the peripheral to the center in the form of sensory knowledge. Then immediately, according to that stimulus, so the center neuron takes the decision and give the motor information, that response mechanism. So that response mechanism is will be a complete of that function of the system. So here there is a cycle. We remember the organism and response and the stimulus. So that is one of the cycle and circle the function of the nervous system. The stimulus means that is whatever the sensory information that is from the external aspect or from the internal aspect that will be transmitted to the organism. Then according to that, the organism has to take the response mechanism. So this should be remembered. It is one of the cycle and circle that will be coordination, stimulus, organism, and response mechanism. So all these functions is controlled by three neurons. The first neuron is called as the sensory neuron, that transmits the sensory information, and sensor neuron, that will be decision making neuron, and the third one is motor neuron, that is effector, that transmits the impulses from the center to the peripheral aspect. So this is the concept of these three neurons, that is the total function of the nervous system. And we remember the outside the myelin sheath, a thin layer of span cells and cytoplasm persists to form the additional sheath. There is one of the additional sheath which covers the neurons. That layer, the sheath is Leydig lemma. It is a very important, that Leydig lemma, because it's the sum of the protective mechanism, supportive mechanism to the neuron. So the Leydig lemma is one of the thin layer which will be covers the neurons that will be in a different aspect. So what is the stimulus? So we remember the definition of the stimulus, that is physical or chemical change in the environment. That change may be external or it may be an internal. The physical and chemical changes, that means the physical change. For example, someone will become an pinch. What is that? Physical related. Suppose for some as example, at the tea time, I have to desire to take a tea. For lunch hours or lunch time, I am desire to take a lunch. What is that? The internal environment is related to the chemical reaction. So the physical reaction and chemical reaction. That means it changes in the environment, that may be an external or it may be internal, that is called as stimulus. Suppose for example someone call you, that calling means to the hearing, whatever the sensation, that is a sensory, because he is calling, you are receiving that call. What is that? It is an stimulus. So once he calls and reach the center of the hearing, and then it will give the information to the muscles. So you look that, you turn your face, you turn your body and see who are the person is calling you. So that is the response mechanism in the form of movement. That may be in a contraction or a relaxation of the muscles, or there may be some hormone secretion by the internal organs like a gland or some of the cells, which will be going to make a response mechanism. So we concentrate. This is the definition. So don't forget this one. It is a very important the portion. One is a stimulus. What is that? Physical or chemical change in the environment. The change may be external or it may be an internal. What I told, that is someone is calling external, and desire to take a cup of tea or a lunch, that is internal environment. So according to that, that will be stimulus, that is the sensory information. Then according to that, there is a response. If suppose I wanted to take a cup of tea, that is a stimulus. Then I will go for canteen or I will search where that cup of tea is available. According to that, I am moving in the form of movement. So that is response mechanism. So we remember of these two portions, stimulus and response mechanism. So that is the point that we remember. The three basic functions. One is a sensory function, one is a motor function, and one is a integrative function. So the sensory functions means the detecting the changes in the environment, that is sensory information, and response offering an effective, that is in the organs like a muscle or maybe in the gland, that is motor function. So that is the important. Then third one is integrative function. The integrative functions means the correct interpretation of upcoming information, the sense of perfect knowledge. So whatever the incoming information is there, according to that, there is a proper identification of that sense of the knowledge and proper response to that of the sensory information. So basic important function is the sensory function, motor function, and integrative function. So these are the three basic component functional aspects of the nervous system. If you understood this basic information, that is understanding of the whole system, basic concept, basic understanding. So that is why we try to make it the these points in a very clear aspect. So this is the point up to the introductory portion, introductory part of the level. I hope you are clear. So We make it any to the your informations or any confusions or if have a doubt, please make clarify. We can raise
your
your
questions.
questions.